Patrick and Reginald here for another episode of the podcast with our two special guests, Wolfgang and the Dirty Dago, off screen. Dude, fuck Transformers. They should make Zoids movies.
Oh,
Yeah, they should.
Dude, Transformers is gay as shit.
Like Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim 2 is coming out.
No.
You guys have seen this garbage?
Pacific Rim? It was actually
Oh,
quite
dude,
good.
it was really good.
It was quite good.
It was quite good. It was a very good
surprisingly
take.
for a kaiju film, it actually was.
It
quite
had a
strong.
great take. Took a lot of its inspiration from.
If you're taking inspiration from Independence Day, you're in trouble.
Independence Day 2 is
Yeah,
coming
I know.
out
That's
this
an
year,
inspiring
too.
movie, man.
Why would they make another one?
Us versus
Didn't they
fucking
say
aliens.
all they needed to say in the first movie?
Yeah, probably. But the big thing is that giant monsters fighting one another. It's a genre of film.
Dude,
It has
no.
become such.
Blockbuster movies in general have become so garbage. All they are is rehashing of old
cliches.
franchise.
What about
Oh, yeah.
Oculus?
No, they're not even cliches.
They
It's
become cliches.
it's
what
re-
about
That's how
Oculus?
obvious it is.
it's just rehashing.
Oculus, that was
Oculus went to theaters.
good. Dude, that was a new movie.
Yeah, that was a
No,
new
what I'm
movie.
talking that's not a blockbuster. What I'm talking about,
Yeah,
like
no, he's
all
talking
these,
about,
It's not like a summer blockbuster.
all these no, it's not even summer blockbusters. All these blockbusters are rehashes of old franchises. They're making another Rocky.
Star Wars.
Star Wars is coming back. Jurassic World came out.
X-Files is coming back.
Another Batman.
X-Files is coming out. X-Files movie.
Yeah, of
Mad
course.
Max again.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
seriously,
the
this
new
is
Mad Max-
ridiculous.
The new Mad
Yeah,
Max
it was very
actually
true
was
to the story.
phenomenal.
You can
Yeah,
nobody make
It was phenomenal.
but can nobody make an original idea
People
into a
do.
movie?
All the
I agree.
time.
People-
It's just-
people
just
do
as
make
many
original
people make
ideas.
blockbusters.
But the issue is
Season
that a
to sell.
blockbuster movie is when they put it through the movie studio goes, I know I'm gonna be able to make millions, like hundreds of millions of dollars off this film simply because it has this name tied to it. And as a business person looking in the entertainment industry, you say, oh, they want to make a Transformers movie. There are so many people who Transformers and live action film with great CGI, they're going to say, I want to see that film.
Hot chicks too.
Yes, I mean that's true, but because of that, we get terrible movies.
Oh,
We get
I agree.
the same movie made 10 times. Like how many X-Men movies do there needs to be? How many Transformer movies does there
That's-
need to be?
That's just
We're talking about Zoids now. That would be amazing.
It would, but
Yeah,
the
it
issue
Then that's
depends
never
on
gonna get
which
made.
Company produced
but
it,
the
though.
issue
It doesn't
is,
matter.
You like the DBZ movie? That was
Yeah, that
complete
DBZ
shit.
movie.
Yeah,
was
but the DBZ
horrible.
movie didn't spend $200 million on
no,
it.
but even Zoids, yes, we know what Zoids is. We were
Exactly.
in that generation of those 2 years on Toonami.
Yeah.
that Zoids was popular.
In 10 years, we'll see Zoids. Then
Yeah.
ittle be our generation.
Yeah.
Will the rehash
Maybe.
all
No,
our
I
movies
think that was a
into
very small subset of
yeah,
our
exactly. It's a
generation.
very
No, no,
small
'cause
subset
He's
of
talking
our
about
Right
like
now-
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's iconic.
Right.
Most
Zoids
kids grew
is
up with
not
it.
iconic. Dragon Ball Z is
Right now,
iconic. Like,
right now, all the movies that are being made are like TV shows from like the 80s generation. All the 80s people who are now like
Thundercats.
30
The
or
movie.
40 years old.
that's
not
gonna
a thing
be
yet?
coming out.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
it's
seriously,
Thundercats
all
the
the
movie.
garbage from the 80s that was really bad, they're turning into movies like Ninja Turtles, Transformers.
Ninja Turtles was a movie
was-
during
But
the
all
90s.
this
Yeah,
comic,
Ninja
all this
Ninja
comic
Turtles
book
been around
stuff.
forever.
And to call Ninja
was
Turtles
No,
almost
Ninja
garbage
Turtles has not
is
been around
bullshit.
forever.
But Michael
Ninja
Bay's
Turtles
Ninja
been around
Turtles
since the
was.
90s.
No, Ninja Turtles was originally a TV show in the 80s.
Right.
Yes, and
That's
it
what
was
it
a
was.
90s movie.
No, the
Yeah.
first one came out in like 89, and then the other two came out in the early 90s. And then they had to rehash them again because now all those people who saw those when they were kids are now adults, and they got to bank in on these kids
Exactly.
showing their kids.
That's
it's just
the
garbage.
issue.
Come up with new ideas.
I
Look at
agree.
Seriously.
That
All
would
the
be
time.
great. It would be great.
Let me give you a direct example of this. Avatar. Avatar was an original idea. It
That's
was
not
a
it's fucking Pocahontas. Are
It
you
doesn't
fucking
matter
kidding me?
what you
Sleep
believe.
dances with
it's not
wolves.
a rehashing though. They don't
Yes, it
attach
is.
Pocahontas' name to it.
It's the same movie.
It doesn't matter though. It's the same as Dances with Wolves as well.
Exactly. It's a
Right.
it's a
Yeah,
complete.
I see what Ian's saying. He's
I'm
saying
saying it's still
the
an original
themes are the
idea.
same.
No, it's not even
but-
the same themes. Like it's literally the same story.
Right.
It's not the themes. It's the same fucking story.
Agreed, but most big Hollywood blockbuster films only get funded as big Hollywood blockbuster because they have a name behind it that they know will sell.
I mean, that's what I would rather see.
They're gonna make
It's a safe
garbage.
bet.
I
They're
would
gonna
not
make
wanna-
garbage, but it's safe as a
I
business.
mean, I
owner
would
to
not
say,
want to see these massive $200 million movies. Like every movie now has to be $200 million. It's
Right.
ridiculous. Make like a bunch of $20 million.
People do. It's just you have to
Yeah.
watch them in order.
Right,
Exposure.
and
no,
Are you
like-
going out of your way to watch low budget?
I mean, don't
One
talk.
downtown.
Yes,
Don't tell me you've
if you're
seen one
talking
there.
about indie movies and
John.
in foreign movies, yeah, you're right.
Because Dylan didn't go there.
No. If you're talking about indie movies and
Stone's fault.
foreign movies, yeah, you're correct. There's interesting ideas and interesting stories going on there, but the budgets they have are not even close. A lot of these indie movies are great ideas. Couldn't even like the budget that they're actually make the movie is like so low, and then they distribute.
Yeah, that's not true. If you look at
That
like the
is
average
true.
price of like a production value of a dance movie, it's in the middle.
Because of
Yeah, of
distribution
course.
costs, not because of the actual cost to make the movie.
I think definitely.
But I think that the
No,
we
like-
could look it up, but I don't.
Like
Well,
if you
I
like
know.
like Clerks was made for like $25,000,
Yeah, that was
but
a
then it
different
spent
time.
like $2 million for distribution.
Yeah.
Like the distribution cost millions.
And obviously, we saw it had a sequel. They rehashed the old. A lot of money. It worked
I
quite well.
I think
And it was
the
a great
issue
sequel.
at hand here
It's a
is
good
that
movie.
because it's a business, you're gonna put more money, just like any investor in any market. You're gonna put more money into safe investments, less money into a great company. That's if you were an investor investing in companies instead of movies, this is a great company. They have a great idea. It is poised to just be phenomenal, but who knows if it'll. Whereas if you have a company that's established like Apple, who they have a following, people want to always buy their products, you're going to invest more money in your safe hedges than you're going to invest in something that's new, fresh, great idea. You think it's going to be great. You can't risk other people not having the same opinion. Whereas when you look at something that everyone already has stated, history, has a huge fan base, billion things. We're going to put more money into something like that because we know the return is not going to diminish.
Millionaires don't invest.
Right.
Exactly, but we do see like.
Of
amount
course.
that
Oh, yeah.
safe bets for sure.
Right. And that's
But
why
there are those
blockbuster
examples.
movies are. That's why it's a ton. Jurassic
Yeah,
World.
totally.
Liked the Jurassic Park movies younger. Jurassic Park was huge. Bring it back. Gonna pay.
But I
to
mean,
go
like, if
see
you
that
think
movie.
about this, like when the Terminator came out or when Jurassic Park first came out, these were huge blockbusters. Titanic, huge blockbusters. All these old, huge, humongous blockbusters that people were spending like ridiculous amounts of money on, E.T., all these great, historic movies, Star Wars. These were new ideas.
Yeah.
Well, Star
It has
Wars,
gotten worse.
Star
Like
Wars
everything
is-
that comes out now is just rehashed garbage.
Not everything. Like
Interstellar was garbage. It was
Oh,
horrible.
yeah,
I
no.
love that
It was
movie.
horrible.
Yeah, all
It's
right.
not.
Just because
It
you
was
didn't
horrible.
like
We're not
it
gonna
doesn't
get
mean it
into
wasn't. a
It was
discussion
great
about
horrific.
that.
It was an
That's
original
all.
movie, though,
That's
right?
all. No, I mean, yes, sure, I guess, but
It has original take on it. I felt a lot.
I thought it was garbage.
No,
It was
a lot
not
of
garbage.
the movie Contact.
Yeah.
A lot of the movie.
Yeah, I
the
thought
type of
I didn't.
innovation.
I
It
didn't.
was like
Yeah,
our.
but if the storyline and the
I didn't
get
think.
no, it was
different,
it was
then,
definitely
yeah.
different, but it was our generation's.
No, I
That's
agree
how
I
with.
didn't watch that
felt like it
movie.
was.
That's a really good.
I haven't seen it.
That's a really good. I didn't think of Contact, but now that you say that, that makes a lot of sense. To me, it's a mix of like, Contact and 2001.
Yeah, and that's.
But
what
I mean, if
felt
you
the
just
whole
think
time.
for a
I see
second and,
2001.
That's what I felt.
and
the
you
whole time.
compare 2001 to Interstellar, you know that Interstellar was terrible.
I think it was different times, but you
Yeah.
can definitely
Yeah.
see they're paying homage to them with the.
Well, not only that, but
I think
also
one of the robots
it-
sings Daisy.
like a lot of. I saw a lot of Contact in the whole movie. The way they played everything out,
Mhm.
and the way that it was just like
Matt
you
Damon.
weren't expecting exactly
Matt
what
Damon.
they were saying.
Dude, when I saw
Like,
Matt
the end of
Damon
Contact,
come out of that thing,
I
I
knew he
literally
was
like
evil.
pissed
I
my
knew he was
pants with
evil,
laughter.
dude.
It was so stupid. Like it
Doesn't
was
matter
ridiculous.
Who it was. If there was a
Yeah, it
scientist,
shouldn't matter who it is.
Yeah, you just
I mean,
because
as
it was
soon
Matt Damon,
as soon as he came out,
that's so
as soon as he
wrong.
came out of that thing,
What
I
was he
knew
saying?
he was gonna be some evil crazy
Yeah, I
guy.
knew he was
Oh,
evil.
yeah.
I knew he
It's
was.
not
evil.
a good
As soon as he
movie.
got out of there, yeah.
Yeah, but he was a trusted associate. That's why it didn't occur
Right.
to them because she trusted this guy.
Right.
Had been with him for like 10 years working on this
Spoiler
project.
alert! If you haven't seen Interstellar,
Right. No, but back to your point about how
Matt
in the
Damon,
90s.
that's the spoiler. Matt Damon
Yeah.
in that
Yeah,
box the whole
Matt
time.
Damon.
Back to
wear
your point
rubber
about-
underwear because Matt Damon's in this
Back
movie.
to your point about in the 90s, blockbuster films were completely original. They weren't. That's just the thing.
For
Is that
example.
you look at something like E.T. Yes, it's a new story, and no, it's not a rehashing of an old franchise. But they had realized over the course of the late 60s and through the 70s that sci-fi was fucking huge. They
That's
saw
true.
this great story written by Steven Spielberg, who was a phenomenal director. Everyone wanted to see Spielberg films. It was sci-fi. It was
They took advantage.
they saw a genre that was really booming. Saw a director who was in the forefront as the best director, and they invested the money.
Okay,
Still a safe bet.
I mean, you're talking about a genre coming into the main. That's not the same thing as rehash ideas. And what other
I
sci-fi
agree.
movies did Spielberg did?
Spielberg didn't necessarily do any other sci-fi movies before E.T. What I'm saying is
He was taking the
sci-fi
risk,
was
right?
huge.
Yeah.
No,
No,
one was
sci-fi at
taking
the
a
time
risk.
was huge. That is
Sci-fi
true.
at the time was a huge genre. It was making tons of money. Even Spielberg
Like,
movies
Lost
were
in
making
Space was before E.T.
yeah,
things
but
like that. That was
tons.
huge.
Yeah,
That
and
was in the 60s.
That was
Star
60,
Trek,
that's what we're saying.
Star
it was in the
Wars,
60s and
it was
70s.
huge.
Lost in Space. things
People
like that.
wanted sci-fi. People wanted Steven Spielberg movies. That's
All-
still a
what
safe
I'm saying-
bet.
it's
What
not
I'm
it's-
not saying it's a rehash. I'm not saying that the rehash is why. What I'm saying is the reason blockbusters the money they get by rehash
What's
are
popular.
getting the money that they get because it's a safe bet. No,
Yeah.
the population will count that film.
Doesn't make
Yeah,
them
but you're
good.
Like
that's
zombie movies,
that's
you
not
see
bringing
those
anything.
freaks.
That's not bringing anything related to what I'm talking. Hashing the same tired ideas.
Talking about
That's not even related to what you're bringing up.
garbage being
Yeah.
the only blockbuster films, and the reason that is it.
He's
no.
explaining the psychology behind
The
why people do it.
psychology
what
around
perpetuates
blockbuster
it.
films is completely. You look at the audience, you look at the people involved. The reason you get specific actors for specific movies, they do so well. You never see a movie terrible that does terrible in the box. Tom Hanks, he never bombs in the box office because they can bank on Tom Hanks. Just like in the early 90s and through the 90s and the 80s, you could bank that if Steven Spielberg directed your movie, it was going to make a shitload of money. You know
mean,
that.
I
Tom
Going in.
Hanks.
I understand that. I don't see how that's really changed today. To me, what I'm saying is, why is it so prevalent now that all you see is rehashed franchises over and over again? You just see garbage.
Gran Torino. That was a.
No, that's not a blockbuster.
Right.
It was a very anticipated movie.
Gran Torino is a really good movie.
Yeah, it was a really anticipated.
What
I
about
movie.
Wolf of Wall Street?
Wolf of Wall Street. That was a block. It
I
was
mean,
based on a true
is it-
story.
Doesn't matter. It wasn't rehashing anything.
It's not called because they should have just called it Wall Street 3, right?
But you look at it,
No.
you look at it.
Have you seen those
There
movies?
are-
They're nothing alike.
With movies like if
have-
Quentin
they have
Tarantino
Wall Street
directs
and-
something, it immediately
Yeah,
gets
it's
a
Quentin
higher
Tarantino,
budget
yeah.
than anything else.
He had
If-
to earn that though.
Right, any
tell in the
director has
quality
to earn
of
that.
his whole movie.
Christopher Nolan has that now, but his ideas are very abstract and
Love
don't. Oh, I
How
do
are his
too, but
ideas abstract?
It's
how
different
are
than
his
the norm
ideas
of
aren't
movies.
abstract.
Not
There's a lot of
necessarily
deeply
abstract.
hidden messages. Because
Right.
he's really good at making a movie that appeals to a wide audience while at the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I would think that'd be a fair.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it has a lot to do with. But when you get directors like Michael Bay, nobody shows up to a Michael Bay film because it's directed
Explosions.
by Michael Bay. They show up to a Michael Bay film because they know Michael Bay for doing things like Transformers, doing rehash. That's why Michael Bay was the director of the Teenage Mutant
I
Ninja
mean,
Turtles
but don't
rehash.
you? I mean, like if you look at television has never been better. The amount of really good
There's really
TV
bad
shows.
stuff though.
No,
What
the
about
amount
the
of
crime
really
shows?
hang on. There's so many really great television shows that are such a high budget and so
Pretty
well
boo-boo.
acted that you've never seen anything like
Yeah,
it.
but-
Duck
That is
Dynasty,
true.
but
man?
that's the
No,
age of
you're
the
looking
internet.
at
No,
the
you're talking
fringe
about
side,
you're
though.
talking about
That's not
reality.
Fringe,
It's not
it's super
fringe.
popular,
He's just
like
talking
Jersey
about
Shore.
no. That's not TV shows. Those are just reality.
Those are
shows.
reality
no,
television.
but
But
that's
if you're
What are
talking
they
like
on, people?
if you're talking True Detective,
television.
Wayward Pines,
No, but-
Dexter.
but that's-
Dexter, the
that-
list goes on and on.
That's because of the birth
Walking
of the internet.
Dead, Mad Men.
There are
Yeah.
definitely shining
Uh,
examples.
Like, no, there's a
House
ton of
Cards,
great
House of
Game of
Cards,
Thrones.
But House of Cards is online.
Orange
only,
is
but
the
what-
New
but what I'm-
Black.
but
There's
what I'm saying-
tons of great television shows.
What I'm saying
No,
is that's
we're
because-
even missing the ones a few months ago. Think about
Guys,
Breaking Bad.
Breaking
Give me,
Bad.
That was
Imagine
a
give me a
that,
second
you
here.
know.
Think about this. That's because television is being forced to be better. Because who's going to turn on their television to watch a show and sit through commercials when they can go back and on the internet pull up any of the great shows that have already passed and watch it back to back commercial free on their own time.
Same thing with the movie.
Yeah, I don't see how
Yeah,
movies
but
would
movies
not be
movies
affected
are
by the
different
same
because
thing.
movies come out at theaters. You can't access them any other
Just
way.
download them.
Well,
you can download
illegally. And there
Same
are
thing
people.
with those TV shows.
Well,
Look at
there's-
the
yeah.
reviews if it's not a good movie.
Yeah, they're under
like,
the
why
same
would you-
pressures.
Right. No,
Exactly.
I
I see it as the same
disagree
thing.
because movies are something that's an event. You don't go
No, it's
out
like
to
how
the movies
movies-
just on a daily
How
basis.
the movies have countered this is like they have these massive, humongous budgets, and then you go to like these ridiculous like spectacles.
Yeah, like 3D.
no,
like
but-
they're trying to lure you in with an appeal you can't
Yeah,
get.
and then it's
from
like
But
a
what I'm
$300
saying-
million
What
movie.
I'm saying is
$20
you don't
popcorn.
go you
Yeah.
don't go to the movie theater 5 days a week. You do turn on your television and watch it 5 days a week.
You don't know me.
Yeah, no, but a general
You're gonna take that
American
standpoint?
will watch a show multiple times a week when they're at home. People don't go to the movie theater on a regular basis. The competition between the movie theater and the internet is much less prevalent than the competition between television and the internet because they're both in-home entertainment.
So
They're
what
both
what is
readily
the
available
crux
at
of your
all
argument
times
here?
in
I hear a lot of
competitive, so
I hear a
it
lot of
changes
talk,
faster,
but what are you
right?
actually trying to say here?
It's more competitive
No,
because
all right,
it's
slow
your
down.
in-home entertainment.
Slow it down here. I mean, entertainment is entertainment. You have to
Right.
entertainment like when the rodeo comes to St. Paul, it's competing with
That's
all
just
other entertainment avenues that are happening at the same time. So what is the crux of your argument here?
It's
What happened
it's
during
more,
the St. Paul's rodeo?
It's
Yeah.
more
What are you talking
of
No,
about?
I'm
not
saying
gonna- I'm
I'm
gonna
saying
go
the
watch
same
the next
like the
Transformers
St. Paul
movie.
rodeo is a form of entertainment, but that's competing with
What
all
is it
other
competing with?
movie
all
theaters.
other entertainment that's available at the same time.
McDonald's.
So when the St.
Exactly.
Paul rodeo shows
Here's-
up once a year,
Yeah,
that's competing
exactly.
with
It's
the
different.
movie theater that you could go to.
Right.
Yes,
anytime.
it is.
That's
I
his
guess.
argument. Yeah, but
How
see,
is that
no.
not the case?
When
It-
Rush comes into
it-
town, are
it
they
is-
competing with the other entertainment?
Yes, they
Not
are.
Really,
No,
because
it-
the
They are. Their
venue-
value is higher, but
Their
he's right,
value
they
is
are competing.
they are
It is-
competing, but people are more willing to go to something that's only going to
Right.
show up once
Right.
versus
It-
something that shows up
it
all the
is
time.
That's
the
not
case.
true. Imagine something you don't care about, like the
It is
Frisbee
the case
convention
that-
versus going to the movie theater. That you
Right.
are competing with them. It's just
Right.
these things have a higher value to you.
But that,
They
that
are still competing.
the
If they were
frisbee
worse
the
than
frisbee
that, your mind
directs
wouldn't
to a
go.
very specific group. Something
Yeah,
like
so does
something
the
like
rodeo.
something like
I've never
Rush.
gone.
Something like Rush coming to Salem, competing with the downtown Cinnabar. I would really say there's
Cinnabar's
no real
not entertainment, that's a
competition.
food.
Okay.
But
So,
regardless, it's still
What are you
so
talking
beyond
about?
that,
You're
let
talking
me
about
go
the-
back to
Talking about
what we're
entertainment, like,
discussing.
Cinnabar is a
I could
movie theater.
no listen. Okay, I thought you said Cinnabar, like the Cinnabon
no,
place.
Cinnabar is a
Okay,
movie
okay, I
theater.
understand. But yes, if Rush comes, they still have to compete with my desire to play Final Fantasy VI. If I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
and
I don't
that's
want to
a-
play Rush, I
all
want to play
forms of
Final Fantasy
entertainment,
VI.
they still
Right,
have to
no,
compete
but
with my desire to masturbate.
the
They still have to
difference-
compete with my
right,
desire
no,
to smoke
but-
a cigarette.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
true.
Forms of entertainment. Yeah.
They,
Yes.
they
But in
do.
terms
I'm not
of things like
discounting that
something you
point.
could do.
One
you
at a
could
time.
play Final Fantasy at any time. Smoke a cigarette whenever you want. Rush shows up once.
No,
maybe
everybody has
ever
limited
in
free
Salem.
time. I don't get
Right.
why you can't concede this, that all entertainment venues have to compete with other entertainment venues.
Okay,
Yeah,
so they
so-
do.
Conceding to what you say, that's true. They only come once a year, and that might knock it up higher on your entertainment value.
No,
It's
it knocks it up
common,
higher on your
it's rarer.
desired value, not
That's the
your
same- that's what
entertainment
we're
value.
saying.
No, you can enjoy
Just
Rush.
like you went to Bullwinkle's,
you
right?
can enjoy Rush
You
as-
decided
yeah.
it was a good thing to do. It was high up there, so you decided to do that rather than stay home because the entertainment value.
But it has
of
nothing to do with your
Bullwinkle's-
value of enjoyment for it. It was something
That
like
is what
with
it has to
something
do
no
with.
with something like Rush. It comes down to thinking not only I really enjoy Rush. It's like yes, I enjoy sitting here playing Final Fantasy. I also enjoy Rush. This could be the last time that Rush ever plays in this town.
Right.
That's going to increase the desire to go, not necessarily
But
the
it's still
enjoyment
competing
value,
with it.
It
but the
will,
desire
to
but much
go.
less.
Even by creating
They're
your
still
example.
competing,
to
but on the same
yeah,
scale as
they're
to-
competing, but it's like movie theater to TV to internet. Rush as a concert is not in your house 7 days a week. You have access to it whenever you're at home, whenever you have
competing
free
level is
time.
not the same. Of
The
course,
internet,
they're still
you
in competition
always
with each
have.
other.
Of
You can
course
say
they
that
are.
about anything.
But that's the point.
No,
is
you
that
can't. You
the
have
It's
to
the
internet?
season finale versus this concert.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
well, how's it? You don't like the band, obviously. It doesn't matter if it's only
Right.
happening once.
No,
you don't care.
but the
This
point
is higher to you.
the point
So it
is
depends.
that
But
when it comes to the difference between internet and television versus internet and the movies, and why internet would propel television more, is because more and more people are dropping their cable subscriptions. More and more people no longer get television service because they can just use the internet. So the TV companies have to provide higher quality content, where the movie industry
I think they're under the same
never
pressure.
but
People
they
aren't
did
buying
not
tickets,
take
it's the same
nearly
thing as not having a subscription.
but they didn't take nearly as much of a head-on hit at the movie theaters, and the movie industry for films didn't take nearly the hit
I
that
hear you
television
talking
does
a lot.
from
what
the
are you
internet.
actually trying to say here? Why is TV getting better, and why is the movie?
TV is getting better because TV has higher pressure from the internet and other
then
forms.
why are the movies getting worse?
The competition for which TV has to compete with everything else going on in your life versus the movies greater. TV has
Right.
to compete with things like the
That was
internet.
just to counter your point of why would TV get better if movies are getting worse. Well, the reason TV is getting better is the competition of the internet. Movies don't have that nearly as much
I
as
think
television
movies'
does.
biggest competition is TV.
Yes,
No.
If you get that quality type of stuff from the
you don't
TV,
invite
why
a-
would
you
you go
don't
to the movies?
you don't invite a girl over to your house. Say, hey, you want to go watch some for your first date? You say, let's go out to a movie, have some
Right.
dinner.
It depends on how
Those
you
are
mix
two
it up. If you
different
make
things.
her dinner, you have a movie in, then
Right.
it might
That's
actually
still a
come
movie.
out.
But it's a
though.
movie,
That's
so
still,
it's
that's
still
still
the
the
movie
You don't
industry.
invite her over
That's
to
so
say, let me
cliche.
make you dinner and let's
Right.
watch Orange is the New Black, unless you have some type of weird thing where you both like to watch
Right.
Orange is the New
Okay.
Black at
Or
the
you could
same
start
time.
like a
It
new
can still
series
be
together.
Everything you watch a movie about, you could find a show that's
of
along
course.
the same genre line. So
That's
you could
better.
Exactly. Well, potentially.
But the reason that movies in general, I imagine, are getting lower in quality is generally we have all these things that are there to rehash. Your safer bets are higher in number. Back when, films were new, television hadn't been around so long, we didn't have things that we could rehash into movies quite as easily and in quite as many numbers as we do now. We didn't have these massive, stories and things, universes that already had a huge following. We were working completely off of
That is true.
We
But
had to build something.
You're looking
Now
at
we have so many fan bases and universes built, why not play off of the existing?
look at this perspective.
But I
though.
mean, how would that explain why there's like fucking 10 X-Men?
No,
movies?
look at it
Fucking
like
capitalism,
this. Look at it like
bro.
this. The movement, the difference. Movies started getting really big. We're looking at huge culture in the United States. We moved from the 40s and 50s, very prevalent, to the 60s.
You know what the biggest,
70s,
the highest
and
grossing
then-
movie of all time was? Gone with the Wind, which was made in the
Okay.
early 30s.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about?
What I'm
Movies
saying-
have always been huge in the
I'm not talking about how movies have been huge in the United States. Type of movies that were being made during the 40s and 50s. If there was no change during the 60s, those movies would have been hashed to provide to the audience. If there was a cultural change during the 60s and 80s, you have to apply to the audience because there hasn't been a change since the 80s. Now there's been a change, not since the late 80s, early 90s. There hasn't been a huge cultural change.
So you're saying because there hasn't been a culture shift, that's why we're seeing the
we're
franchises
rehashing things
regarbage.
that are going
But then
to
why
win.
wouldn't television be the same?
Okay.
Television is getting much better.
It's accessibility to the mass. You look at the 80s. Not everyone had a television in their home. Not everyone had access to the internet where they could go back and somebody tells them about this show that they watched when they were a kid and starts watching and realizes how awesome it is. Now we have instant access to rehash any show
internet,
that has
the
been
internet,
around
the internet.
for so long that now why not rehash these ideas as movies? You're gonna make shitloads of money
It's
off
the same
of
reason
them
why you said we should about Zoids Zoids
because
and
you like
think it would be good.
Zoids. It's not an original idea. It's a rehash.
That's not an original idea.
No, I understand creating using a television show as a base to create a
No, I'm
movie,
talking
but
about a
that's
movie.
all. I'm not. The movies that are coming out now aren't even just that. All they are is rehashes of other movies.
Oh, I agree. But
It's
the
not even
point-
like a unique move, like a unique
The
TV
point
show.
is
that
that
was
now-
a cool show in the '80s.
now more than ever we have
Like,
a
how
way.
come the GoBots movie hasn't come out?
No, because now more than ever, we have a way to statistically analyze how many people watch these movies on a regular basis. You look at something like Jurassic Park. If Jurassic Park is on Netflix, we can say how many people in the last 6 months have turned on Jurassic Park and watched it. You walk into a board meeting at Universal and say, we need to rehash Jurassic Park. Look at how many people have watched this movie on Netflix in the last 6 months. think of the sales you're going to have in the box
So then, how come they
office.
haven't redone Gone with the Wind? It's like one of the most popular
Because
movies of all
how
time.
many people?
How come Citizen
watch,
Kane hasn't been redone?
Yeah, how many people watch Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind on a regular basis?
No, you have,
it's
the way,
not
the way to look at it is business,
mass
strictly
popular.
business. Why
It's
are
strictly
movies bad?
It's strictly business.
Why
It's
are movies
capitalism.
bad? Yeah. Why are TVs good? Because TVs don't make as much money.
Right. They have to compete with the
They
internet
have to
much
make good
more
stuff to
because
make
they're
money.
in your house.
You can't make a shitty TV show and expect to make.
I mean, I don't know.
$15 million
Those,
at the box
to me,
office.
that sounds like unsubstantiated claim. I mean, obviously, movies have bigger budgets, so they're going to have to take in more money.
No, it has nothing to
But
do with
I don't
taking
know.
in more
I mean,
money.
now like TV shows have, big name actors. Kevin Spacey, a silver screen guy, which historically
He's
being a
on an
movie-
internet
hang on.
only television show.
Historically, being on the movies
So
was.
now
Hang
the
on, let me
networks
finish
have to
here.
compete with that.
Let me finish here. Previously, like being an actor in movies was like prestigious, and being on a television show, you were kind of a third-rate actor. But now you have exactly what you said. Kevin Spacey, one of the best actors there is now on a television show that's only on the internet. So why? I
Right.
just don't understand why these movies are under the same pressure and why they're not making creative, good quality stuff.
'Cause
Okay,
they're still making
so
money.
here's the biggest thing.
I know
Find
you sell
somebody
gas at $2
who
a
is a
gallon.
movie buff. Find somebody who watches a ton of movies, learns, all about movies, and then ask them about television. I'm going to tell you that the people who love movies, love going to the movies, aren't always people who like to watch television and tune in every week. Do that. Now, the people who tune into Netflix to watch the new episodes in the episodic way that it's played out are the same people that will tune in on a weekly basis to a television to complete the story.
Virtually all television shows that are worth their salt, you don't need to tune in every week. That you on demand.
Oh, I agree. But the issue is that they're a completely different form of entertainment. A movie is you sit down for a 2-hour, 3-hour block of time, you get the whole story. Television show and even an internet show, you're going to spend
I agree.
32
I don't know if that's true at
hours
all.
to get the whole story.
Most movies that are coming out now are like trilogies or long.
And that's
Like
fine.
you see way more though. So most of the time, yes,
Look-
you have the trilogy
look-
with the Hunger Games. You have the trilogy
Right.
with that other dystopian ovary movie, and then
What
you
is
have
that one? I don't know which
the
one
new
it is.
Star Wars movies are coming out. We just went through 2 trilogies of Lord of the Rings. Like so many huge, massive sequel movies, which were
But-
planned to be it with continuing storylines
But even,
exist.
even
So I don't.
the extended edition,
How much money does it
all
cost to go to the movie
6
theater?
films
How much does it cost?
of Lord of the Rings. The
A
extended
movie
edition,
theater is
all
like
6
$12
films.
bucks, $12 to
No.
go
Yeah,
for
right.
a ticket. 10 to 12,
No,
depending
it's
on where
12
you go.
if it's at 5 for sure.
Okay, yeah, if
Yeah.
you're talking a matinee, you can get it for cheap. 10 to
It's like
$12.
$8.
Okay,
In,
$8
some,
for
in other
matinee.
cities, it's even more.
per movie.
And then on Netflix, it's like $8 a month,
No,
Right.
7.
$7
Yeah,
a month.
but look at it this way: you put in all of the Lord of the Rings
so there
movie,
you go. You can
uncut,
watch any Netflix show
the
you want.
unedited. They put in all the scenes. They put all the scenes back in. You still sit down and watch that? You're looking at 18 hours. I turn on Breaking Bad. 1.5 seasons is longer than 18 hours. To get through the whole story is 70 plus hours of watching time. People who watch movies don't want to sit through the long, constant story time. People who sit through movies want the quick satisfaction of it.
Yeah.
They want to be able to sit down and finish, even in a trilogy, that portion of the story.
What are you doing?
So, but you know what I mean? I mean, the original Star Wars trilogy, you're talking about lengths of movies. You finish Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring. You know that movie's over. You don't feel unfulfilled because you can't
Yeah,
watch
because you
the
haven't seen
second one now.
No,
Whereas
it makes you urge
finish,
for the second one.
Yes,
It's a
but
business
you can
tactic.
still be fulfilled
I mean, I
with
feel like
watching that movie.
we've hashed this topic. I don't know if we're going to
The only
Right.
thing that I have to say, $12 to go see. That $12, you pay $12. Go on Netflix. You're talking about making hundreds of different shows, making hundreds of movies, and it costs you $8 to view all of them, which means that people have to compete on a larger level to stay afloat than they do with a movie. Movies, that money, done. People
So
go
it's like
to
now,
pick
like
the
the movie companies, there's only a few. There's not that many production houses, big budget ones.
No,
There's not that
right.
many distribution companies. You're saying like there's really not that much competition in massively
No,
movies that are
the
not
reason-
competing with other stuff, and so they're not that good.
No, the reason why I'm saying that is people know that they're going to, and they know that people are going to go.
They don't know
see-
that.
Yeah, if you make
Like,
Jurassic World,
Think of Waterworld. You know, that-
Waterworld is not a rehash of any movie.
Right.
There was no water.
that's
There
why
was no
it
land
failed.
world.
It's not why it failed. It failed because it was terrible.
Exactly.
Wow.
But you look at something like Jurassic World.
But if
Yeah.
you would have made a
obvious
movie that
people are
was
gonna
just
go to
as
that movie.
yeah,
I don't think we're gonna get any more.
you could have. But here's
Well, I
my
have a point
point.
I've been holding in.
All right, let's
You
hear from
could-
Terrence.
hold
Let's
on,
hear from
let
Terrence.
Let me just go back
You've
to
been talking
Waterworld.
for a while. Let's hear from
Waterworld for
Terrence.
just a second.
All right.
If you would have made a movie as terrible as Waterworld, but it would have been something like a Star Trek movie, I guarantee you it
made
would
more
not have flopped at the level that Waterworld did.
Yeah, I know people went and saw the
Guaranteed.
first Star Wars movie.
Right.
I mean, this is reinforcing the safe bet thing.
Right.
I think part of it is it costs less per episode, so you can couple if they don't, you can cut it. Movie, invest in a movie out, like you said, $200 million.
Right, but think about the fact that every time you cut a TV show,
But
you
they're
now
still
have to
making
put
bad movies. It's
all
like
those
you're
people
making a
back.
risk to
Now
make
you have to
bad
put a
movie.
bunch of new people on salary. You've lost money by your terrible viewership for the last 3 weeks on this new show that you have put millions of dollars in. Now you have to rehash your bets on another TV show, which is hard to safe bet a television series, unless, of course, it's a rehash, which are a lot harder to pull off television. Most of them are animated, something
Yeah.
of that
They
nature.
rehashed Scooby-Doo 6 times.
Right, and that's a safe bet.
Oh, and early
That
on,
doesn't even make any sense to rehash Scooby-Doo because it's for kids, and kids don't exist for 20-year
It
periods.
doesn't matter if a kid is watching it.
Scooby-Doo is just a great
It
show.
doesn't even matter if someone's watching
Like even the
it.
new Scooby, like the
In a
Scooby-Doo.
business
All right. Basically, we've exhausted this
Yeah,
topic.
let's move on.
What I'm saying is, vote with your feet. Don't go to the movies. They're fucking terrible. Go to art cinemas if you want to. Go to independent movies. Just don't spend your money ever again on blockbuster movies. They're terrible. You'll always be disappointed, and we're not going to get any good movies. Stop fucking.
It
That's
gives
my
me a lot of
message.
pussy.
That's my message to.
Yeah,
That's
see-
the only value of going to
Yeah,
a
do
what you
blockbuster
want.
movie
It's
now.
a good
but-
value.
Harming anyone else.
But
That's
yeah,
all
no, and we live in a capitalistic society.
All right.
You vote with your
guys,
money.
We'll
Vote
see
with
you
your feet.
later.